On April 1st, 2013, no, it wasn't an April Fool's joke, I got my first 5x5 blind success. It took me about an hour and a half, but as I previously said, I didn't really care about the times that much. The really amazing thing was that I had gotten it on my first ever attempt. Of course I had done some sighted solves a few times before, but I really did not expect to get a success on my first ever 5 blind attempt, especially after it took me something like 25 attempts in order to get the 4x4. Now, the blind event that fascinated and interested me the most was certainly multi-blind. Amazingly, my overall multi-blind PB, as well as my current official multi-blind PB, both date back to that year, to 2013, almost 5 years ago. At the time, I still used Old Pockman and M2 and averaged about a minute and a half for a 3x3 blind. It might not have been super fast, but it was definitely a considerable improvement from what I had been averaging earlier that year. It is sort of funny though that although I'm at least 3 times faster now than I was at the time, I still haven't been able to beat my multi-blind PBs from the time. Something pretty exceptional happened that year as well, which could potentially have been a turning point for me in blind, making me improve way more, and perhaps even have made blind my main event. At Canadian Open 2013, during the finals for 3x3 blind, I had one solve that was very fast. I memoed extremely quickly, and I ended up getting an attempt of 50.00 seconds, when the current national record was 52 or so seconds. I averaged about a minute 30 at the time. That was an extraordinary attempt, but unfortunately, it was a DNF. It was very close, but it showed me that, wow, I had never thought, but I could actually be really good at 3x3 blind. I almost got the Canadian record. A few minutes later though, something else happened that definitely shook my world quite a bit more than getting a close DNF that was really fast at blind. In the OH final of the same competition, I ended up getting a 13.23 OH average, which was my first ever North American record. 3rd place in the world, only 0.03 seconds behind Felix's best average. Now that was truly something amazing. With the World Championships coming up, why would I ever practice blind when I would have the chance to be on the world's podium or get a world record, maybe even in one-handed solving? Definitely, that would be my main focus. And that is how my first golden age of blindfolded solving finished, as I had decided that I should concentrate on other events that I was a lot better at, really. Now, I didn't actually end up getting a podium at Worlds. I think I finished 7th or 8th or something like that. But that doesn't mean that it was over for OH. I got another North American record that year, 2nd in the world now. And then, the year after, got my first world record. I got another world record after that, and then another one the year after that. I stayed on top in one-handed for many years, and so blind just became a neglected event. I didn't really care about blind much anymore. During those 3 years, as sum of ranks was one of my priorities as well, blind never ended up getting all that neglected. And I did slowly improve, averaging about a minute towards the end of those 3 years. In 2016, I was still using the same method I had learned in 2013, Old Pockman for corners and M2 for edges. I had learned a few advanced M2 tricks over the course of the years to help me solve edges faster, but it was still basically the same method as I had learned 3 years earlier. In 2015, I got a 43 official single, And it was pretty clear that there wasn't really much room for me to improve unless I put in a lot of effort into blind and learned 3 style. And so that's why I just didn't really bother. I knew that it would be a lot of effort, more effort than I was willing to put into it. So I just stuck with what I used. Now that's not entirely true. Maybe around 2014, sometime 2015, it's hard to say because I didn't document it and I don't remember all that well. But I did start learning 3 style, kind of. I watched Noah's tutorial about commutators, and so I sort of understood the basic concept. I fooled around with it a little bit, but the main thing that interested me was because I knew a lot of COLLs, as well as ZBLLs, a lot of those were 3-corner cycles. And so I thought that it would be pretty easy for me to apply them to blind. And so those were the first commutators that I learned, the first speed optimal alks that I started applying to my solves. It was in part because something that really pissed me off was that when I would watch top blind solvers, let's use Noah Arthur's as an example, I would look at their solves and they would memo really quickly, like, I don't know, 8 seconds or so. But then the execution, it was terrible. I mean, okay, I suppose it wasn't all that bad, but the finger tricks weren't very good, the algs weren't very good. I would just cringe while watching the solves and just wonder how they could be so bad at execution and so good at memo. People who were really good at blind tended to be really bad at speed solving.